Hi there, welcome to Module 7. This is it. We are talking about a go-forward strategy, how to budget your time and money the best on your paid social campaigns, and where to go from here. So we are, first of all, looking at some overarching elements of the really high-performing types of paid content. What does it have in common? Well, number one, A+ assets. So the visuals and the copy that is part of that promoted post are stellar. They're compelling, they're clear, they're concise, and they leave me wanting more. They make me want to not only stop scrolling to read it and engage with it or stare at it, but to click on it and do something with it so that you're actually generating an action out of that post. Strong value proposition. This is so important. Like, what is it that I should care about as a user or a follower or a non-follower who's seeing this ad? Why should I care? What are you doing for me? And remember how selfish and short attention span we are, and that every single person coming across your paid content feels that way. Like, why am I seeing this? Why are you targeting me? And what is in it for me? And hopefully it's so good that they are taking immediate action. It's something they didn't even know they needed. They're not just bookmarking it to come back to it. They're clicking on it and they're doing something with it right then and there. You've created delight and curiosity, and expectations are met. That's where the clear and concise call to action comes in. So what are you calling on them to do? And remember, as we talk about a lot in our content creation classes, audiences are kind of dumb. I have no idea what you sell, and I don't speak your language, and I don't know why I'm seeing this. So walk me down the path. Where do I go from here? And if it's not clear, I'm out. I'll go somewhere else, or I'll keep scrolling. And that applies to both that promoted post as well as the website or the redirect that you're sending me to. Make it clear, because if you confuse, you lose. Strategic targeting, that work backwards process. Who are you serving this to, and why does it matter to them? What problem are you solving in their life? And it's not about you, remember. I don't want to know where you went to school and how important you are and how many awards you've won. I don't care. I didn't ask. Talk to me about my problems. Solve them. Show me that you understand me, you know me, you get me, and you're the standing shoulder to shoulder with me as like the person that can solve my pain points and the only solution to my problems. And then finally, placement and ad type. So where are you showing up and in what format? And there's so many types available to us and platforms that we can now advertise on that this matters. You don't have to be everywhere. In fact, you shouldn't be everywhere. So pick the platforms, the placements, and the ad types that resonate the most with your audience and that you can successfully create the best. Is it video, or is it long form blog posts, or what is the content that they love organically that performs well for you that of course you want to turn into your paid posts as well. Next, on the whole, it goes without saying that we want to do more of what's working and less of what's not. And once we have a better understanding of what content is performing well, we can absolutely create more of that and put more money behind it. And once again, the best part about advertising on social today or creating content on social is that we can see exactly what is working and what's not, and turn up what is succeeding and turn off what isn't. The split testing piece of things is where so many of us get so lazy. We can't be bothered to see how one headline versus another is performing. And that's fine, but I'm going to tell you the easiest way to go about it is through that dynamic content opportunity that we have in Ads Manager. When you create an ad campaign and you give Facebook right there in that same window 5 different headlines to test, fine, go ahead and do it for me. A/B test the heck out of this and then serve up the one that's doing better. Instead of having to build 5 different ad campaigns with 5 different headlines, we can now do it right in there. There's no excuses not to try. So having that kind of machine learning working for you and those analytical insights come back to you, but also having those anecdotal insights and learnings to say, I know that people love it when we do this, this, and this. So live video on Tuesdays, and we create animations on Fridays, and we do some sort of Q&A on our LinkedIn page. That's the kind of stuff that they can't get enough of. Let's boost that. So lots of testing, iteration, and learning, both machine and human. Setting measurable goals, of course. We want to understand and recognize that world-class brands and the ones that are creating the best types of paid content out there and campaigns that are super high return, didn't get there by accident. They're testing various post types. They're constantly innovating and iterating. And when they find out that something's working, like that type of live video that people love on Tuesdays, they're like, that is not permission to keep doing that. That absolutely means we can stick with it for a while, but we have to get on to the next great thing, because 3 months from now, that's not going to work anymore. That's how quickly audience expectations are changing and how many people are watching what you're doing and they're trying it now too. Trending content. So we want to stay at the forefront and constantly be creative, innovative, and willing to test and try new content types, placements, etc. So, some questions for you. What monthly budget might you be able to start allocating to Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn promoted content? You have an exercise sheet that goes into more detail on this in a second. From there, are you willing to create ad campaigns? Hopefully, this is something that you can say, yeah, I get the importance of that. I'm going to put even more budget behind ad campaigns because I believe so strongly now in the audiences I've built and the promoted posts that I'm creating that I want them to appear in more places. I'm ready to go. My return on ad spend is awesome and my results speak for themselves. So how are you able to think about the budget for that? What can you do? And I will be the first to say that when we have been able to build audiences and build ad campaigns that are really well strategized and that are reverse engineered like we talked about, we expect that 10x return. If we need to sell $100,000 worth of conference tickets or $10,000 worth of a new planning tool, we will expect that if we ran $100 or $1,000 worth of ads, we'll get to that $10,000 worth of sales. Or, the 10x formula that I can't figure out right now. So what is your return? How can you continuously improve it? Even if you're getting 1-to-1, you're building awareness. That's something. And then aim for 1-to-2, 2x return. And then hopefully it'll grow from there and you'll be blown away. We have been at places in our digital advertising journey where we've wanted just like pull in every possible credit card we can because we're at maxing the limit on all of them, but we're generating such massive return that it's so worth it. That's kind of a fun place to be, and that's when you don't even mind making Mark Zuckerberg rich because you find that you're finally seeing success yourself on your content and social platforms. Here is a sample kind of planning or budgeting spreadsheet. You can create one yourself very easily if this resonates with you, if having it in spreadsheet view makes sense to you, that both outlines kind of months as well as campaigns and boosted posts perhaps. You can be more detailed with it. You can run it any way, which way you like, but this is something that we have done really religiously ourselves over the years, both for our paid posts and then as well for our monthly ad campaigns. And this is a spreadsheet that we actually do use in the ad campaign class, number 305 of the 360 series, where we need to have full eyes on all of those pieces of the ad campaign, the hierarchy that I mentioned. So the dark gray on the left is the campaign name. And then the middle piece is the ad set level where you've got budget, audience, general pieces of the campaign, like, again, ad, imagery, what are we putting in there? And then the final piece is the actual ad itself. So the written copy, the written headline, the call to action, then the budget, and we can sort of see what's running at what time, what audience is being targeted, etc. In this case as well, it would be for a specific, in this one, conference or an event that had a launch date or a live date. So we worked backwards and we flipped the switch on a 12-week campaign. So we need to know that our cold ads are running for the first few weeks, then our warm ads, then our hot ads, and we're cycling people through that journey and moving them along. Okay. For our purposes, you've got 5 exercises in your paid social workbook. And the first ones are going to see us mapping out on paper our top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel audiences. And then don't stop short of going into Audience Manager within Facebook Business Suite and building them out. It shouldn't take you long unless you got deep down some rabbit holes, and hence the idea of the pen and paper beforehand. So let's look at what that looks like. The first one is that cold, aka saved audience. Before you get in there, I want you to think about 6 to 10 interests or behaviors of this audience. Sorry, it shouldn't say this, your audience, but of this audience. And then what are the gender and age group categories of this group? And spoiler alert, you're going to create 3 of them. The idea here is that we have 3 colds, 3 warms, and 3 hots. So a total of 9. And this is exactly what we do, and then some, in our audience building course. But before you can boost any content, we really do want to do this here. If you need more training on this, we've got it for you. But try to go in right now and create what you think to be 3 really powerful cold audiences. What is the most powerful way to do this is if you don't have too many variables. Take yourself back to grade 7 science, where you have your constant variables and then you have that one changing variable that's different among each audience. So you can really test them. And that could just be age, or it could be gender or location or some interest, no problem. But don't make every audience so different. Before you know it, you'll have 24 cold audiences, and that's not really a good starting place. You want to feel really aware and confident in them so that when you go to boost those posts, we do what's called audience cycling, where that Monday post gets boosted to cold audience A for 3 days. Tuesday's post gets boosted to cold audience B. Wednesday's post gets boosted to cold audience C. And then Thursday, you could potentially go back to cold audience A because that 3-day boost has run out. If you start overlapping and you don't have any spreadsheet or mapping tool about who's getting boosted what post, you can have what's called audience overlap. And that is where Facebook thinks you're spamming the same audience over and over, and your overall reach will be reduced. You'll be penalized for the fact that you're targeting everyone all the time with the same paid content. So we don't want to do that. So create your cold audience, and bonus if you can do a total of 3 there, where age, gender, or location is the single variant, the variable between those audiences, but your interests and behaviors and everything else remains the same. Exercise number 2, let's do the same for lookalike. Or you may want to bump ahead to exercise 3 and do those hot audiences first, so that you can then go back and do those those lookalike audiences, where remember, you need a source. So my source is going to be probably a hot source, like website pixel traffic or post engagers that I can create a lookalike for my hots to become a cold. So we want to do that 3 times and have 3 warms as well. You're going to have a beautiful audience manager at the end of this. From there, your 3 hots, and again, they don't have to be website traffic. They could be based on engagement or other things that you'll find in there when you start digging around. Next up, exercise number 4, your monthly boosted post planner. So this is where we determine what platforms are getting what budget and how often. If you know, because in your scheduling and automation course, you declared your frequency and your content commitment across each platform that you're invested in, that you know absolutely that you're posting 20 times a month to Facebook, 24 times a month to Instagram, 12 to LinkedIn, and 4 to your blog. Beautiful. Then you know exactly what boosted post budget you need to generate so that you can boost every post, if you can. And once your audiences are set up and you start pre-boosting, it is dead easy, and it is just the final piece of the puzzle. Otherwise, you're getting 90% of the way to the finish line and you're not getting across it. So plan it out a little bit here with platform, number of posts, monthly boost budget, how much per post are you giving generally? And then the final one here is where we get a little bit more even specific, and we say which posts will be promoted each month, for how long, and to what audience. So if I print this out and I've got several copies of this each month, or maybe I'm using it digitally, great. I can then quickly jot out what each post is going to be, how long that boost will run, and what audience is getting targeted, which again is the most important thing. I hope that helped, and I hope that you are on your way to feeling really solid about your promoted content so that you can then graduate from that and get deep into ad campaigns and truly start to see return. I am a wholehearted believer that you can peel back the spending in so many unnecessary places once you start to see how powerful and how effective your paid content can be for your business, even if you're just getting started. And if you're not doing any of it, you need to find a way, and I don't usually say you need to, but you do need to find a way to invest in this for at least 3 months in a row. Scrape together $1,000. $1,000 a month would be amazing if you can, and make it work for you, but don't waste your money. The number one thing that people say to me and to our school is, I've tried boosted posts, they don't work. Okay, well, who were you targeting and how quality were your audiences? And from there, what type of content, how frequently, how much were you iterating and optimizing and revisiting it and just staying on top of it so it wasn't set it and forget it? And it doesn't have to take over your life, but you have to set it up properly, learn the basics, and before you know it, you'll be one of those annoying people that's bragging about your return on ad spend. I know you can get there, and I can't wait to hear how it goes. Good luck. Thanks.